Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to our show here with Beth English and myself, Sergio Gomez. Super happy to connect with you. It's Wednesday, and today we're going to talk about four positive things that have come out of the pandemic. For as much bad things that have come out of it, I think there are four things that we, as artists, can actually benefit from. That the pandemic brought us. So, first of all, Beth, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's beautiful here. It's fall, and I can't wait to go out and play in the leaves. They're just falling all over the place. What is it like in Chicago?
Well, it is nice. Also, the leaves are coming out, and I cannot wait to stay home and have somebody to clean all my leaves that are falling in the jar. But I know, but it's good. It's good. I love the fall. I love to see how the seasons change, and super excited. Always good to see how the seasons kind of continue to evolve. And
Hmm.
today we're gonna talk about four positive things that we get to enjoy now that have come out really of a chaotic season in the whole world, not just in our life, but in the whole world, which is the pandemic. And I wanted to share with you, as I was looking back the other day, like, well, there are four things that actually have made my life better now than what it was before. And I think I was talking to a friend who came to visit the studio, and we were chatting, and I was like, after that, like, well, geez, I think there's some things that have no benefit. So let's see how you like this, Beth, too, and let's see how our friends like this. If you can agree with me that this is better, maybe not. Maybe they just good, but maybe not as good. So let's see. I would say, like, the first thing that I think now has a huge benefit to all of us is that how easy it is to invite somebody to a Zoom call. Zoom has become like a verb now, like what Photoshop had come back in the 90s, where, oh, I'm gonna Photoshop this, Photoshop that, will you Photoshop this, make our lives easier as artists, right? I think now it's the same thing. Let's Zoom together, right? It's like, let's chat together. But where before, there was a lot of in person, which, as much as we love it, sometimes the distances of things. Now it's so easy to say, hey, Beth, let's chat on a Zoom. And I have met some new friends, since the pandemic, that now we do regular Zoom calls, and I love it because, well, like, why didn't I ever think about that before? Right? What everything had to be a call, what everything had to be an in person, and if it wasn't possible, you just wouldn't do it. Now it's so easy. So I think that's one of the benefits, that for as much as we were um, apart from each other, Zoom or any type of video conferencing allowed us to connect together and to,
Mhm.
be able to have those relationships even at a distance in a more easier way, in a more less of a restriction. What do you think of that one?
Definitely. It's saved me time from having to get in the car and go drive places, and it's just made it a lot easier to connect. Even if it's like, hey, let's get on the Zoom for quick 15 minutes, or, you can talk to people all over the world. And so I have been doing for myself and my own work lots of collaborations with people all over the country. And that to me has been so exciting because I put the intention that I wanted to reach out beyond Nashville years ago because I felt like that was the next step for me. And so now I'm doing it, and Zoom makes that so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for artists, you can have now more studio visits, where somebody wants to see your new body of work. Well, if they're not in your town or they're not in the area, you can have them do a Zoom call with you, right? Or I've seen so many artists also who are doing shows away from their city, and now they can do a Zoom, talk to people who are far away. So as artists, I think there's so many ways in which this new, well, not new technology, but this technology that now is more accessible to everybody, it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Nobody's going to look at you weird because you're doing something through Zoom. Or artists who are doing also teaching, who do some educational component as part of their career, where they're doing workshops, lectures, things like that, going to schools to talk to students through Zoom. And again, it just has opened up more opportunities, I think, for all of us. So my invitation for you, my friends, is continue doing that. Continue using it, because now that the Pandora's box is open, let's just keep working with it. So
Mm.
the second one that I think is also a great benefit that I see is that because of the pandemic, people now are more kind of or they have less fear, I should say. They have less fear of buying online
Mm.
and purchasing things online. Through the pandemic, I think we all purchased a lot of things online, from the groceries to more things that just make lives easier, right? And what is the good news for that is, just as more people are now more used to buying online, and so is the art buying has also increased online. For our art gallery, art buying online has increased, threefold, which is amazing. And, most of our buyers are actually not in Chicago, they're away from Chicago. And so, and before the pandemic, a lot of people think, well, people don't buy art online, they want to see it in person. Not anymore. I mean, of course there will always be some, but it just has become so much easier for somebody to look at your work online. Oh, I love this painting that Beth just posted, I want it, and boom, it arrives in the home in 3 days. Right? So what do you think of that, Beth? Has your own buying experience has changed since the pandemic?
Definitely it has. I do buy things online more, and I mean, I'm not a big shopper in general, but I do like the ease of just buying things online and having it shipped to my doorstep. But definitely have seen art sales increase online. People just are more comfortable using technology in general. And so, yeah, they're going to, purchase things online. They're going to use their phones and their computers. I mean, are at our fingertips. Literally, we can buy anything at any moment. And because we were sort of forced into doing that, it makes it a lot more like common. And it's just going to continue to be that way, especially because, when it becomes easy and familiar, then there's just no resistance to doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that I keep reminding, the artists that I'm coaching is like, well, sometimes we think like, well, everybody's broke because of the pandemic. And like, no, that is totally not true. Actually, a lot of people have a lot more money than before the pandemic because they didn't spend it in vacations or going places, or so they are redecorating their home and things like that. So there's a lot of art buying online. So again, a call for all to our friends watching. If you're an artist right now, to improve on your online sales experience, to make it easy for people to actually be able to buy from you. That's super something that everyone can do as well on this point. Make it easier, not harder and difficult, as sometimes we like to do it. All right. So the third thing, another third positive that I think is that now, and I think this might be more in my case, but I find that, I find better and more creative ways to do less commuting and arrange life in a way that I have to commute less, because we can do now, as you mentioned, more meetings on Zoom, where before I had to go somewhere, and that saves me time where I can say, well, now I can put that in the studio, or I can put that into my marketing, or I can, in other words, relocating, reorganizing our life in a way so we have to spend less time doing some things that take too much space, and then relocating that time to something that's more productive or more fulfilling. It doesn't have to be always work, but something that's more fulfilling. So I found that, after the pandemic, I realized after I moved my studio back home, all of a sudden it's like, why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I just move my stuff before? Like, there was something about leaving the house and feeling like I was going to the studio, like, well, yeah, that space was bigger, but here at home is like so easy. I can just finish this call and then just go and paint something, let it dry, and go do something else. So, I find that to be how we allocate our time, I think, has been recalibrated.
Yes, definitely. And, I've actually been doing this since like 2016 because traffic was getting so bad in Nashville. I just thought I'm just over it. I want to stay at home. And so I just changed, my life little by little in order to create that kind of environment for myself. And so, I work at home and I, go out sometimes, but not that much. And I love it because the last thing I want to do is be stuck in traffic on the highway. And so I'm glad that you have found that, because it has been such a great thing for me. And I get more done because I'm spending less time in the car.
Now, I think that's the bottom line. Yeah. So the call for action for friends. So this one, you're watching this, think about how you're using your time. Is there something that you're doing that could be a Zoom call, or it could be something else that you can rearrange in your life to make more room for the things that really matter to you. And the last one, number 4, is, I think, as much as we talk about, the Zooming and everything that I have said, because of the pandemic, I think we now value more individual connections and the one-on-ones, even though they may be less frequent. But when we get to actually be with people, sit down with people. It's such an incredible feeling to be able to be back again, in a group or in front of each other and have conversations, in ways that perhaps we just always took for granted because they were always there. And when those things are taken away, when you go back, it feels refreshed. It feels more meaningful. When I make an appointment to meet with somebody, it's a more special appointment. It's just just another meeting that's been added to the schedule, but like now I made the time for you. Now we're going to go do this, and I found that my connections are more meaningful, like the ones that happen online that I had to put on my schedule because of that. So I don't know how do you feel about this one, Beth?
Oh, I mean, 100%. I have been going to some events recently and I'm seeing people for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And we're just like loving on each other, hugging, talking, just expressing our appreciation for one another. And it just feels so meaningful. And I think that's what we're all looking for. And I think that, what we were taking for granted before and then have lost, now that we're gaining it back in some small form, we're definitely going to take that appreciation with us for being able to connect with people one-on-one, face-to-face, and that I think will carry us, through the rest of our lives, because this has definitely left an imprint on each and every one of us. Right. And it hasn't been easy. So it definitely is such a special thing to be able to be with people again.
Absolutely. And the call for this one, my friend, on this one, what you might want to do today after you watch this, go to your phone book or think of maybe you're thinking of somebody who you might want to make an appointment with and have a chat and have a one-on-one or a lunch or something with a friend that you haven't seen in, like Beth said, in 2 years. Let's do it. You'll find that I think it'll be the most meaningful, amazing time that you'll have in the longest time. So let's do that. And with this, I finish, my friend. And again, it's a positive note on some negative aspect of our human experience that we all had to share collectively, but finding some positivity on the other side as we started to get on the other side. So, and as we go, let's also connect with each other. So, Beth, where can our friends find you and connect with you?
You can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Beth English. You can go to my website at bethenglish.com. And I love getting your messages. I love connecting with you guys who are watching out there. Thank you so much for your sweet comments and DMs. It really means a lot because we're here to help you. And it feels good to know that we're doing that. So, Sergio, where can our friends find you?
And my friends, you can find me, of course, Sergio Gomez Art on Instagram. You can find me everywhere else, same. Twitter, LinkedIn, and everyone, all the others, all the others. And of course, if you want to check out all my resources online, just go to theartistnextlevel.com as well. And well, super happy to connect with you again. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, sharing your comments, your thoughts and ideas. Maybe you have a fifth one that came as a positive. Share it with us. We would love to hear. And we'll see you next Wednesday. It's on our schedule. We hope it's on yours as well. Bye, Beth.
Bye.